Greetings one and all, this is Riddim and welcome to my channel, and today the speculation is over. I mean, half the speculation is over. The PS4 announcement came out 11 o'clock last night GMT. There was like a shitload of people on the website watching the live stream through Ustream, and I think at the very last count it was something like around 300,000 out of a possible 3.5 million was basically tuning in like 5 minutes before. And when the presentation started, you know, the stream was running nice, but as soon as Andrew House basically mentioned, and here we have the PS4, it's like the whole freaking site shut. There was just so much traffic, so I was finding ways of trying to get the stream elsewhere and what have you. First I was into the PlayStation's official site, and then I went through to the Ustream channel, which somebody in YouTube very graciously directed us to. So yeah, so it was all good. Okay, first things first, my impression, I'm not gonna really try and give you the pop the hood or pop the bonnet aspect of it, because there was no car. We only saw the steering wheel, and by that I mean we only saw the controller. We never saw the actual console itself. The very fact they never even showed us that made me think there was a lot more things that they were trying to implement within it to capture a whole lot of markets. Well, to capture one market in particular, and that is the game capture market. You know, myself and my good friend Pemby66, we've had many discussions in relation to capturing and what Sony needs to do, and which they actually did. I mean, you know, but we'll go into that in a little bit. But in chronological order, obviously the presentation was kick-ass. But then again, you know, I'm not really overwhelmed by that. I need to see what we're getting from a layperson, from a dummy's perspective, if you like. Okay, well, the first thing I got to see was the controller. The controller basically had a touchpad at the top. So it was almost like a, they were saying like it gives you like a 3D perspective. But to me, I don't think the touchpad was really necessary for that, because that's what you have your two analog sticks for. I don't think you're going to be making leaps and bounds into a digital landscape with the touchpad. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not authorized to give that opinion because I haven't played the PS Vita, which has that on the back. So maybe someone who has that can basically tell me that. But I don't want to play games through a 5-inch screen. You know, I already need to wear glasses and I don't, because of my vanity. So, you know, playing with a Vita is just not really going to happen for me. But they did mention that, you know, that their software and their hardware is going to be more cross-platform based. It can go across tablets and smartphones and all that kind of stuff, which is good. That's good. Another aspect of it, I've just written down some notes here in my scrawled up writing. Another pro for the console is that it has a secondary chip where it's able to basically download huge games and will enable you to actually play the game before it's even fully downloaded. I think that is a great pro, because nothing is as tiring as losing patience for a game you waited so long to play, but you got to wait another 5 hours for it to even download to play. You know, so I think in that respect, it's given a lot of pros for the gamer as far as the PS4 is concerned. Let me see what else is there. Oh yeah, now this is the thing that's either gonna make or break Sony, in my opinion. Myself and Fight Night's Finest and Pemby66, we had a discussion about it. They were actually discussing the topic while the press conference was going, and I just joined them after the press conference was finished. And it's the streaming and the spectating and the share button and also the start button. Now with the start button, it's basically where there's just no boot up time. There's hardly any boot up time whatsoever. You just press the start button and boom, you're in, you're playing. So that's a pro. Now we're kind of getting into the pros and cons, and they're kind of merging together, especially with the streaming and the spectating, because there were some aspects of the presentation that kind of left me a bit wary. I mean, when you're gaming, you know, there is a level of anonymity that comes with it. And if you become like an elite player, the anonymity is kind of broadened, because although people know your gamer tag, there's a level of mystique about the whole thing as well. I mean, I'm probably one of the few people that's actually on the Fight Night Champion community that's actually interviewing these people, so you can get a voice behind the gamer tags and things like that. But that's just after a period of people playing the game and people knowing of other elite players within the community, and just kind of them breaking their silence and just, you know, just getting more of their character. But I think with like all the sharing that is going to be going on, which is going to be implemented through Facebook as well, you know, they're talking about gamers, you know, just revealing more of themselves through Facebook and all that kind of stuff, and, you know, and then being able to help other gamers out and take control of their game from a remote device or blah de blah de blah. And Fight Night Finance made a point by saying, well, you know, if I bought a game, why am I going to basically have somebody else play my game for me to watch? That's a spectating mode I don't need. And I echo that. I don't need that. The spectator mode for me has to be implemented in the games that everybody else is playing that I'm playing too. Like Fight Night Champion, it will be great for that, you know, and other sports games, which was basically omitted from the presentation, I must add. The sports games, EA was nowhere to be seen. And usually EA are a big part of the launch titles of a new console. So I didn't see them. The streaming thing, even though I was suggesting that they should have it, I now look at their streaming options and they're kind of making it mainstream. It's like, you know, anyone and everyone can basically start, you know, putting up gameplay videos and things like that. Whether it will affect YouTube in that respect, I doubt it. Whether it will affect the game capture companies, I think so, because the one thing that was missing from the whole presentation was the most important thing, which was the console, which would have told me from the connections of the console what was allowed to go through it. Because with Elgato, you have the component cables, you have the HDMI cables, and just like with Roxio and Hapage, it's more or less the same thing. So it would have been interesting to actually look at the back of the PS4 to see what would go in it. But I think they're trying to do the game capture card companies out of business, because for one blinding moment, I was here thinking that Sony was on the side of the gamer and, you know, Sony is here to help us. When in reality, Sony is here to make money. So if they're seeing a whole slew of gaming channels about the place on YouTube and on Twitch and Ustream and what have you, they want to capture that market, and they're going to do it in an exclusive way. And I think personally that they're going to go into the direction where Apple is going, where they're going to make all their peripherals only being able to fit on the PS3, and no other third-party game capture card can fit it in, or it will be encoded in another different way, because obviously you can't record 1080, you can't record 1080p, you can only record 1080i, I think. So that's something that's gonna piss people off, to say the least, I think. Oh, the games they had on offer. Although I'm not a big fan, I really liked the look on Killzone Shadowfall, man. That was some cinematic shit, man, for real. It just looked really, really good. I felt immersed in the game, I gotta admit. But it's the one thing though, I'm I'm really afraid of getting shoot 'em up apathy, you know. And for me, I've only started playing first-person shoot 'em ups within a year, you know, within 6 months, and I'm, you know, I love them. I love shoot 'em ups, but I'm just frightened of getting shoot 'em up apathy, if that makes sense. So there has to be like certain things implemented in the games that's gonna keep my interest. What else? Oh yeah, Drive Club. They showed their game for the PS4. I'm not a huge driving fan. I think Gran Turismo 5 was my last one that I bought. I hardly play it, but I must admit the look on the game. In fact, the graphics in general looks freaking awesome on the PS4. There's no doubt about it. What else was there? Oh yeah, Infamous Second Son. Again, another game that I don't really play, which looked fine to me, you know, but it has to be something that, you know, that I'm interested. It has to be something that I'm interested in to play, for me to get excited. And you can show me all the graphics you want. If it doesn't hold my interest, it doesn't hold my interest. But obviously the fans are gonna love it. God, I can't even read my writing, man. All right, yeah, and they've basically featured a section from the independent game makers, because there was a lot of success with a game called Journey, which I haven't played, but it's been critically acclaimed. So they basically featured an independent company whose game for the PS4 is called The Witness, and it looks nice. It looks quaint. All I just saw was a landscape. It's a puzzle-based game, which I quite like. I'm a big fan of puzzle-based games, and the game's called The Witness, and they're the makers who made the Braid game, which once again I haven't played. So what else was there? Oh yeah, Square Enix. They didn't actually present a game, but they actually presented some graphics, which they are featuring in the PS4. And I got to say, the graphics, once again, are freaking awesome. There was a section where I forgot which company it was, and they were actually talking about the creative side of implementing things into the PS4. And they had that shot of the skin mapping of this old guy's face, and Fight Night's Finest was saying he went to the bathroom, and when he came out, he was asking his peeps, who's that old man on the screen, and they were saying no, it's a computer generated dude, and he couldn't believe it. You know, neither could I. I mean, for me, it was like, you know, that was one of the benchmark moments for me anyway, just to see where they can take this thing, because obviously it's a new console, you know, and you got to give it time to kick in, and when it kicks in, you're gonna see some cool shit, as Dr. Emmett Brown would say. Let me see what else. Okay, yeah. Now, for me, my standout moment in the game's presentation was Ubisoft's presentation of Watch Dogs. That game will make me just buy the PS3. Where am I going? I'm going backwards. That game would make me buy the PS4. For real. That game has got some Matrix stroke enemy of the state shit going on. You know, it's a beautiful looking game. It's a game that uses certain elements that I've not seen before in a few games, you know, and it just looks really, really impressive. It was one of the games I was recommending you guys to check out, but I didn't realize the game was exclusively made for the PS4. I think it might be made for the PS3. I don't know. I might be wrong, but that is definitely a game I'm going to investigate. Yeah, and also Beyond Two Souls, another game that I recommended people to check out. That's going to be on the PS4 as well. And like I said, you know, they're dealing with some paranormal stuff in there as well. So, you know, if they had a bundle pack with Beyond Two Souls and Watch Dogs. That's it. I'm sold. What else was there? And more or less, they, as a finale, they basically introduced the people from Activision, who are in conjunction with Bungie, who hasn't been on the scene for quite a while, and they're bringing out their game Destiny, which is a sci-fi game, and you know how I feel about sci-fi games in general, and it looks very Halo-ish, They made Halo, what can I say, it looked nice, kind of went over my head. But in resuming, the PS4, didn't see the console, only saw the controller. The streaming and the sharing and the spectating issues are going to be something that they're going to have to really, really set down straight for the gaming channels that are basically spreading throughout the whole of YouTube. I've noticed that, they're only dealing with Ustream, which is cool, but I personally don't have a Ustream account. I have a Twitch account. I don't know if that's going to inspire me to create a Ustream account. I mean, there are people with the PS3 that already has a Ustream account, which do quite well out of it, I suppose. But now it's like the whole streaming thing, which I was mad about before, I'm not too hot on. But the spectating and the sharing and what have you, I'm interested in that, but I want to see how much they're going to use their scissors to cut out the middleman on this, because I think it's going to do some harm to the game capture companies. I think it's going to do some great harm. Or it might just run parallel with what they're doing. Who knows? But until we see the freaking console, we're not going to know. And I just think that's basically on the part of them not revealing too much to Xbox. Now, if Xbox was to take the stance and get rid of the stupid system of having us to pay for our internet twice and implement what PS3 had been doing in their consoles, I think you're going to find a lot of people's going to turn to Xbox as well. I really do, because for the first time I'm thinking, well, what has Xbox got to offer? It's not a case, well, I'm not interested what Xbox has got to bring. I'm interested now what they got to offer, and obviously, you're gonna have to get over not playing exclusive games for the PS3 if you're gonna, play on the Xbox 720, or you might just have both consoles. Who knows if you got that deeper pocket? But yeah, I mean, that's my roundabout views and opinions and findings on the PS4 announcement that they had yesterday. I hope it makes any kind of sense. I'm looking forward to seeing more news about it, because it looks to me they got a whole lot to tell you. And please, Sony, can you give us some news on the sporting titles? Please. EA, where are you? What's up? What's happening? Well, that's my phone. Anyway, I gotta go. Catch you later. Peace.